This is Top 30. Coming up, Tyler Perry has issued a scam warning on Facebook. You could have all your student loans paid off by competing on a new game show. And LeBron James fans are not impressed by how he spent his day. Welcome to the show. I'm Kristen Smith. Here are 30 things you need to know. Do you ever feel like every time you go on a plane, the amount of legroom you have keeps getting smaller and smaller? Well, that feeling isn't going away anytime soon. The FAA recently declined to set a minimum distance between seats on planes, meaning airlines can continue to squeeze those seats as tightly together as they want. The reasoning behind the FAA's decision: smaller seats don't impact consumer safety should an emergency evacuation occur. Seat pitch, or the distance between seats, has shrunk considerably in recent years, from an average of 35 inches to just 31 inches today. And some discount airlines like Frontier and Spirit have gone even further, with a seat pitch of just 28 inches. The shrinking sizes don't just apply to seats either. Bathrooms on planes have gotten smaller as well, leading to complaints from pilots, flight attendants, and passengers. At the same time, the average passenger has gotten bigger, not smaller. So if you plan on flying anytime soon, be prepared to get a little cozy with your neighbor. All right, football fans are going to want to hear this one. The NFL Players Association has filed a non-injury grievance challenging the league's policy of no kneeling during the national anthem. Their statement read in part, "This new policy imposed by the NFL's governing body without consultation with the NFLPA is inconsistent with the collective bargaining agreement and infringes on player rights." And Tyler Perry has a warning for his fans on Facebook.
I am not giving away anything on Facebook. I'm not giving away any money. Do not give your information to any of these people.
The famed director says he's very generous to his employees and friends in real life, but anything on Facebook is just a scam. And finally, the Norfolk Police Department in Virginia doesn't play around when it comes to a lip sync challenge.
Dance, jump on it. If you said and flown it. If you freak dead and own it.
They challenged the Seattle Police Department, but with almost 30 million views in just a few days, they'll be tough to beat. Now let's go to the floor of the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with Nicole Petalides. So, Nicole, I hear a well-known drug company is making a big change.
That's right, Kristen. Pfizer is postponing drug price hikes that went into effect this month. This after President Trump criticized drug makers for raising prices. The president praised the move, tweeting that he hopes other companies do the same. Netflix has a new feature that makes it easier to binge watch offline. Smart downloads will delete a downloaded episode and automatically fetch the next one. If you don't want to keep this feature on, you can turn it off in your settings. The race is on to get movie and book rights to the Thai cave rescue story. At least one Hollywood producer is already in Thailand talking to the actors, writers, investors about partnering on a movie about the ordeal.
Well, that's a story worth telling for sure. And I understand there's something else in the works as well.
Well, Discovery has ordered a one-hour documentary special that will debut in the coming days.
I can't wait to see it. Thanks, Nicole. Also joining me is Danielle Knox from Fox 35 Orlando. She has what you need to know today. So, Danielle, I hear the wage gap may begin earlier than we think.
Hi, Kristen. Well, the gender pay disparity may begin in childhood. According to Chores and Allowance app Busy Kid, girls get much less than the boys do, about $6.70 a week to the boys, nearly $14. The app says girls are typically told to do things like clean the bathroom, while boys are told to mow the lawn. Society tends to assign different monetary values to labor and domestic chores. Research has found that aging in the brain could be slowed down simply by feeling young. The study says people who felt younger than their chronological ages had greater volumes of gray matter in their brains. This meant their hearing, their memories, their decision-making, and overall health was better than those who say they felt older. Researchers believe they feel less motivated to lead healthy lifestyles, which is what causes the brain to deteriorate. Well, do you walk in the house every day and greet your pet, "Hey, little smushy, smushy, so good to see you"? If you do, and I do, don't feel ashamed, because that just means that you are super duper smart. Researchers at the University of Chicago say people who talk to their pets are more intelligent than those who don't. Historically, it was treated as a sign of childishness, but it's actually a sign of compassion and intelligence. And that's what you need to know. And Kristen, I have to confess, I talk to my plants too. What about you?
You know, I've never tried talking to plants, but when I had a dog, I did talk to her all the time. So I guess that makes us very smart. Thanks, Danielle. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's time for this week's Page Six Fix with senior reporter Carlos Greer. So, Carlos, you're talking about what some of the biggest celebs did for the 4th of July.
Well, Kristen, as good as your 4th of July may have been, it probably wasn't as good as Diddy's. We can exclusively report that he spent the holiday partying at the Playboy Mansion. The new owner opened up their doors for an Independence Day bash, and our spy says Diddy and his family were enjoying the slip and slide. And while Justin Bieber is celebrating his new engagement, it seems American Idol alum Katharine McPhee is having to defend hers. In response to the haters criticizing her engagement to David Foster, who is 34 years her senior, she says, "Y'all should be worrying more about registering to vote and midterm elections than who's marrying me." And it seems like Beyonce and Jay-Z decided to take a mini vacay to George Clooney's neighborhood of Lake Como while on a break from the European leg of their On the Run tour. And that's this week's Page Six Fix. See you next time.
Must be nice being Jay-Z and Beyonce. Thanks, Carlos. You can watch Page Six TV weekdays. Check your local listings. The new documentary, Three Identical Strangers, follows the unbelievable true story of Bobby Shafran, David Kelman, and Eddie Gallen, three identical triplets who were unknowingly separated at birth in 1961. When the boys were just 6 months old, they were adopted by three different families in New York who all lived within 100 miles of each other. The triplets rediscovered each other when they were 19 years old, and their crazy reunion took the media by storm. But what they didn't know was the real reason they were separated in the first place. It turns out the triplets were a part of a secret social science experiment carried out by the late renowned psychiatrist Dr. Peter Neubauer. The study sought to find the answer of whether nature or nurture is more important when it comes to child development. The triplets were purposely placed with families from different socioeconomic backgrounds, and researchers would often come to their houses to study them. Their adopted parents were never told the true purpose of the study or that their child was actually a triplet. Well, the study was shut down in 1980 when the triplets found each other. The results were never published and were placed under seal until 2066. Now the brothers are on a quest to unseal the documents and find out once and for all why psychologists separated siblings in the name of science. Three Identical Strangers premiered at the Sundance Film Festival earlier this year, and now it's being shown nationwide. A new game show has a different sort of prize. No, it's not a new car or a luxury vacation, though those would be great. But for millennials, it's still a dream come true. True TV's Paid Off bills itself as a trivia show with a Sally Mae twist. Every contestant has student loans, and the winner has a chance to get their loan balance paid off. Hence the title of the show. In format, it's like any other traditional game show. Three contestants answer trivia questions in different categories, often with an education-related theme. The winner then has to answer as many questions as possible in the speed round. Depending on how many they get right, they could get 100% of their loan balance paid off. It was only a matter of time before the entertainment industry tackled the student loan crisis. More than 44 million Americans carry student loan debt, with an average balance of more than $37,000. And while a game show might seem like an inappropriate way to deal with such a massive problem, the irony is not lost on the show's host, comedian Michael Torpey. At the end of each episode, he says, "Call your representatives right now and tell them you need a better solution than this game show." Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. Former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin said this week that she was duped into an interview with who she thought was a disabled veteran. Here to talk about it is our expert on all things pop culture, Gianno Codwell.
Yes, I love being here. Thank you for having me, sincerely.
Okay, let's talk about this. What happened?
So Showtime sent a request to Sarah Palin to come out and do a documentary, air quotes, with regards to veterans. She sat down with whom she believed to be a disabled veteran. There was a wheelchair, a lot of heavy makeup, a full production put on. So as she was being asked these questions by the interviewer, which was Sacha Baron Cohen, then she eventually took off her mic and walked out the room.
She said this was disrespectful. She said it was evil.
Absolutely.
And, you know, Gianno, I think even with comedy, there's a line. Do you think this line was crossed here?
There is a line, and I think that this line was crossed. However, Sacha Baron Cohen is an equal opportunity exploiter when it comes to comedy. So he's done this to Democrats, Republican politicians, as well as celebrities of all spectrum.
Okay, let's keep it moving here. LeBron James and the pizza restaurant he invests in, The Blaze, the chain announced they would give out free pizza to celebrate LeBron's move to LA. But then after the promotion, things got a little interesting, right?
LeBron posted on Twitter, he said, haven't been to a pizza party in a minute, Culver City, ? With a lot of emojis.
Yes.
The fans believed that he was gonna be there, so they were around the city, all over, hundreds of people in line, and he never showed up.
The fans aren't taking this well.
No, I think they're gonna start burning his jerseys now because he didn't come with the slices.
So at first I was kind of defending LeBron, but then I read into the... No, we don't.
Touche.
I read into the emojis. When you look at the emojis, first he did the thinking face, so he was seriously considering going to the pizza place. Then he did the googly eyes and a pizza slice, meaning he was seriously looking at that pizza place.
He never made a formal offer to be there. He never said he was definitely gonna be there.
Okay.
So you and I agree, we here.
We're not here. Thank you, Gianna, so much.
Thank you for having me, sincerely.
Top 30, we'll be right back. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 13 Tampa Bay, in early April, Heather King realized that most foster kids often have to wear shoes that are too small or 2 sizes too big, causing them to constantly feel uncomfortable and insecure. So she set a goal to collect 1,000 pairs of shoes by June 1st. She asked around her community, and the response was beyond anything she could have imagined, surpassing her goal with 1,250 pairs of shoes. Our next story from Fox 29 Philadelphia. 7-year-old Tamara Bat-Yisrael had just gotten her training wheels off when she decided to ride in Philadelphia's 15th annual Police District's Peace Ride. Though a little bit wobbly, Tamara was doing well until she started to ride uphill. She struggled, and just as she was about to call it quits, officers Wong Tran and Stephanie Aitken stepped in to save the day, taking the time to teach Tamara how to ride a bike the right way and making sure she finished the parade and make it up any hill that she faced. In our final story from Fox 26 Houston, 19-year-old Eric Zucker has a speech impediment. And when he found out that the World Series MVP, George Springer, also has a speech impediment, he quickly became his biggest fan. And as a surprise to Eric, the Astros invited him to a game, giving him the opportunity to meet George, who gave advice for overcoming his disability.
You can't let anybody distract you, anybody get you down. You have to be proud of who you are.
A message and a moment Eric will surely never forget. Welcome back to Top 30. More than 60 million tons of tomatoes are produced commercially every year in the United States. Joining us now is the guy who literally wrote the book on tomatoes, Hollywood chef Paul McCullough. Hi, Paul.
Nice to see you. I'm obsessed with tomatoes. I cannot lie. And you know, the average American will eat 22 pounds of tomatoes a year, and in the summer that spikes, mostly with, like ketchup or sliced on burgers.
And like you said, a lot of people slice tomatoes for sandwiches. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
What are some different fun ideas that you have?
Why not make like a curried tomato jam? It's great on grilled chicken, on burgers, and you like portobello mushrooms?
Oh my gosh, love.
There is fungus among us. Put it on your portobello mushroom and you will love it.
Love it already. Okay, so salads. Salads don't have to be boring. Now, I am a big believer that salads can be fun too.
Yes.
Do you have any ideas for salads?
Well, it's the season of tomatoes, but it's also stone fruit, peaches, plums. So why don't you grill some peaches, add some Roma tomatoes, some arugula. Do you like goat cheese?
Love.
Little goat cheese in there goes
I'm easy to please, obviously. I'm like, love. Do you have a favorite kind of tomato? The green ones, the yellow ones,
Do you have a favorite child? I mean, come on.
No.
I feel like Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice. Take the Roma. If I'm gonna sear a tomato or cook a tomato, I love like a lemon boy. Or if I'm slicing, I love like a brandy wine, or a green zebra stripe is possibly my favorite tomato. So green zebra stripe.
Oh my gosh,
if I have to pick.
If you have to choose. But again, we don't have any favorites here. Any last final tips for us?
Oh, if you have like a dingy copper pot, flip it over, put tomato on it, and scrub it with a sponge, and the acid in the tomato completely cleans up that pot.
Stop it.
Yes.
Chef Paul, thanks for being here. Recently, there have been a number of sad stories about animals traveling on planes. Well, this isn't one of them, but it was close. Stephen and Michelle Burt were on a JetBlue flight from Orlando to Worcester, Massachusetts, along with their French bulldog, Darcy. They noticed the dog was pushing her head against her carrier. When they took her out for some air, they noticed Darcy's tongue was blue. She was panicking and struggling to breathe. Flight attendants said the dog had to stay in her carrier, but after they saw the animal clearly in distress, they took action. They brought some ice to help cool Darcy down. Then they got permission to use an oxygen mask, and it worked. After she was feeling better, Darcy even got her picture taken with one of the quick-thinking crew members. The Burts thanked the flight attendants on Facebook for being great humans. In a statement, JetBlue said, "We all want to make sure everyone has a safe and comfortable flight, including those with 4 legs." Darcy is now back to chasing squirrels in her yard. An accomplished daredevil recreated some of the most famous jumps attempted by the late stuntman Evel Knievel and set 3 records in the process. Travis Pastrana wanted to make these jumps to honor Evel Knievel. His first one flying 143 feet over a total of 52 cars. Knievel jumped 120 feet over 50 cars in 1973. Pastrana then completed a jump of 192 feet over 16 buses. Knievel cleared 14 buses in 1975. Pastrana's final jump was the most dangerous, a leap over the fountains at Caesar's Palace. Knievel failed at his attempt in 1967, leaving him with several broken bones and a concussion. But Pastrana completed the 149-foot jump with ease. His final jump won without his motorcycle into the fountains to celebrate his accomplishments. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. A lot of parents will be able to relate to this one. You're planning your annual summer beach vacation, and then, of course, the age-old question for mom and dad pops up. Can I bring a friend along? Paige Failing from Fox 46 Charlotte joins us now to talk about this. So, Paige, how do you navigate this situation?
Yeah, Kristen, who wants to hang with just your own family when you can bring along Susie from down the street with all the good Barbies, or Sam from school who has the latest Fortnite downloaded to his phone, right? Now, there are, of course, pros and cons to taking along extras here. Some pros. New kids equal new entertainment. They bring along different toys. You got that new blood around that can cut down on the usual sibling fights and issues because everybody's distracted by the novelty of a different element in the mix. But cons, mo kids equals mo money equals mo problems. Add one more on for every meal expense, every ticket to the movies on a rainy day. The best pro, though, might be worth putting in that extra work because if you take theirs, they should take yours, which means if vacation karma comes back around, sometime you could be looking at a week at home while your kids go off on vacation with another family and you are left all by your lonesomes, which, as any parent can tell you, Kristen, leaves you not feeling lonesome at all.
You know, that's an excellent point. What parent doesn't love a quiet week at home? Thanks, Paige. One of the most flamboyant and best soccer players in the world is switching teams in a historic move. Cristiano Ronaldo was named the world's best soccer player 4 out of the last 5 years. He played in Spain, leading international powerhouse Real Madrid to 4 Champions League titles in the past 5 years. He will now be joining Juventus, which plays in Italy and has won 7 straight Italian league titles. Ronaldo will make a reported $64 million a year over his 4-year deal. In soccer, a team can pay another team to essentially buy a player. That's called a transfer fee. In this case, Juventus paid Real Madrid about $117 million. Combine that with Ronaldo's salary and taxes the team will owe, and you get a $400 million total price tag. ESPN says that's the second highest ever for a player. Only time will tell if the 33-year-old can live up to that hype and his next challenge. Canadian twin sisters from Montreal have invented a device they think could help reduce the number of hot car fatalities for young children. Using sensored cushions under the car seat of the child and the driver, an alarm sounds as soon as the driver gets up out of their seat, so the child isn't inadvertently left in the back seat. Marie-Pierre and Sophie Vermette-Lacroix came up with the idea as part of a school project. Still in the early phase of development, the cushions are currently connected by wires, which the sisters are hoping to replace with a more upgraded Bluetooth system. According to the safety organization Kids and Cars, an average of 37 children die each year in the United States because they were left in a hot car, with at least 90% happening between April and September. It really is a parent's worst nightmare. These young girls are incredible for being part of the movement in trying to find a solution. Welcome back to Top 30. A young girl born with no legs got an incredible gift after having used old tubing and tin cans as makeshift limbs her entire life. Images of 8-year-old Maya Murhi struggling to walk in the tent encampment of her Syrian town went viral, prompting a prosthetic center to bring her to Istanbul, Turkey, where she was fit with proper prosthetic legs. Maya's father, Mohammed, suffers from the same congenital disorder as his daughter and says their family has faced many challenges. One Turkish prosthetic specialist said he did everything to make this child walk, and God helped them. Normally, nobody would believe she could walk with these makeshift limbs. Doctors are hopeful Maya will be able to fully walk with her new prosthetics in the next 3 months. What an incredible story. And that's it for today's show. Here's what's coming up on the next Top 30. We'll have the best new cars for families based on performance, safety, and value. Plus, water parks are a great way to cool down during the summer. These tips can help you stay safe. And hard work in school pays off for a very special student. You can also listen to the day's biggest stories on the Top 30 podcast. We'll see you next time here on Top 30.